Hello Tadpales and welcome to a brand new video. We are on Nocturnal, sweeping the final Intervallo before reaching Canto 8, and I'm excited and a little bit nervous. I don't know why this silhouette right here reminds me of Freddy Krueger, so that's a bit interesting. But ladies and gents, it is time. Here we go. Yawn. Dante, any idea where that leftover cake from yesterday went? No idea. I mean, why would I know? I can't even eat. Hey, that's true. Darn. Did Donkey already get her paws on him? Rosia rubbed her tired eyes, muttered something about how we should have partied in her room instead, and stumbled to the back door. The New Year's came swiftly to the inhabitants of the bus after the various incidents at the LCE. The sinners all came from different backgrounds and parts of the city, but annual celebration for New Year's seemed to be a thread that connected their cultures together. They began floating the idea of a New Year's party and... Excellent! Then permit me the honor of hosting this banquet. With her usual overdramatic boast, coupled with the familiar twinkle in her eyes, Don Quixote declared that there would be indeed a New Year's party, and thus it was decided. Again, after all the hell we went through with the back door and whatnot for the out of season Christmas celebration. Yet, I must insist, for 'twas but an effort to decorate the bus, the intent quite divorced from the action of celebration. Don Quixote glanced at Sinclair, sheepishly scratching the back of her head. Huh? Oh, don't worry about me, really. Haha. Well, 'tis true that mine actions hath brought thee quite the distress, unintentionally, I might add. Thus I ask thee, wouldst thou not agree that a communal event to mark the occasion might freshen both our spirits and bodies? I can't even begin to imagine her amnesiac self even taking a moment to give a damn about how Sinclair might take it, but I guess with memory came tact. You know, it's our first New Year's together. It sure is an occasion for a celebration, huh? Gotta hear that bell go ding to really mark the transition to a new year, right? It seems that we shall be welcoming the first light of the new year in company of one another. This is indeed a cause for celebration. A bowl of noodles before the last night of the year fades. Classic. I mean, I definitely agree with that. That would be delicious. Sob, such bubbling enthusiasm from ye warmeth mine own heart. Damn! Forsooth, the grandiosity of this banquet shall be one for the books. Fireworks most brilliant enough, delicacies too. Karen, when's our next stop? Mephi'll be running nonstop for 3 days at least. Only dum-dums stop on a fast road. So she says. Virgilius muttered with his usual sardonic edge, one fist under his chin. Fie. For next year's celebration, the banquet shall be prepared ere the promised hour. Don Quixote's idea of a grand banquet depressingly fizzled into nothingness, but Rosia brought out the cakes and cookies she'd stashed in her room so we could at least hold a small celebration for the New Year's together. After that, we all stayed up together, watched the New Year's first sunrise briefly paint the city in gold, then retired to sleep. Oh, dang. Look at that. When everyone woke up, rubbing their tired eyes, the world outside the bus had completely transformed. There was a behemoth of a structure, bizarre in its presence, and its walls seemingly made of gargantuan steel plates. H-Corp? The sinners began to voice their surprise, appropriately so, as what came into view was different from any of the nests we'd passed by on our journey thus far. Is that massive structure all one building? If that whole thing's the nest, then where the hell's the Backstreet? That's big enough to cover H-Corp's territory and then some. Well, There he goes again, asking dumb questions without ever taking a peep at the guidebook. That's not the nest. That huge box you see over there, that's District 8. We call it Hong Yuan, the vast garden here at H Corp. The nest lies within the center of the structure, and the back streets without. So they squeeze the entire population of this district in there? Do they just not get a ray of sunlight all year round? Huh. Well, at least they won't have to worry about the rain. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that is true. You won't have to worry about the rain, but geez. You gotta feel like you're living in a fallout shelter at that point. Aha, prithee, avail me a sight as well. As the sinners began to gather one by one at the other side of the bus, stirred awake from their late night's rest, I felt my gaze drawn toward Hong Lu. I looked for signs of concern or distress on his face, worried. It wasn't exactly something unique to Hong Lu, but the stories about his past home life we've heard throughout the year, whenever he felt like sharing them, were all consistently and terribly depressing. Foo-hoo. It's not such a bad place once you actually try living here for a while. But his lips, ever so slightly curled upward into a kindly and relaxed smile, are making the same expression as ever. An expression that hasn't changed at all since our first meeting. Maybe it's just a cultural difference. Kinda like how Hong Lu can be so nonchalant about things that should give most people pause, but actually no. I'm not helping anyone or anything by entertaining these thoughts. My job at this moment is to keep a close eye on Hong Lu, more so than usual. And if the time comes for me to help him, as the manager, I'll give it my all. Besides, they're only my colleagues, so why should I really care? That's what Dante is saying in his head. Whoa! This thing's even bigger up close. Verily, I carry no recollection of a structure so grand, even in past adventures of mine. If my efforts aren't enough, I know I can trust the sinners to lend me a hand. Hey, let me see too. I collected my thoughts and approached the sinners who were flattened up against the glass window to get a good view. Dang. I want to see what... Oh, there we are, way down there. What the... We look like a trolley from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. What the heck? Oh my gosh. I mean, just seeing the size difference of Mephistopheles compared to the structure was crazy. And looking in here, I mean, it looks wild. It actually kind of reminds me of cities in Blade Runner. Phenomenal movies, if you haven't seen them already. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, why is Don Key out? Why was Don Key out? Yes and yes. All right, full stop, baby. All right, boom, 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 boom. In the future, we have to get full stop Heathcliff. He is on my to get list because I want to make a nice full stop team. A whole, you know, a bullet hell team. Just everybody with guns. That would be hilarious. I don't know how good of a team we can make, but I want to at least try. Once we left the bus. Oh, man. Can't believe we had to get off the bus here. We have to make a formal complaint against H Corp for this crap. What the hell were they thinking? Doing shoddy construction work at the entrance of the highway that leads straight into the nest? Many causes there may be to such construction projects, yet perhaps an early warning sign ere our approach to the site would have been a sensible ad. Were not for young Karen's most valiant drifting. I shudder to even imagine the terrible possibilities. 'Twould have been a most awful end to an adventure. It's no surprise that the sinners all had a piece of their mind to speak. As we drove up to the entryway, we unexpectedly came across a mess of badly put together steel plates blocking our path in the middle of the road. Karen quickly spun the bus around, which meant that everyone ended up being thrown about like ragdolls. Good thing there was another road off the highway that leads into the city, right? I bet Karen would have tried to reverse gear all the way back to the last interchange. but looks like we'll be going through all these winding alleyways to get to the nest. It's so dark in here. We were greeted by a dark street upon disembarking from the bus, illuminated only by faint strands of light. It was immediately obvious that we found ourselves in the back streets of H Corp. Looked pretty impressive from the outside, but it's no different from the other back streets inside, eh? Yep, it's a familiar sight. Gotta say, it's getting real old. I asked thee, is the nest of this district shrouded in such darkness as well? No, these particular sites are limited to the back streets of District 8. The back streets of this district weren't very different from the other ones we'd visited in the past. People hurrying through the streets as though they were being chased by something. People scowling and glaring at the ground with some sickness or discomfort. Seems all too common in every corner of the city. There was one thing about this place that stood out from the other districts, however. They're kind of reminding me of the former G Corp soldiers back at District 4. What? What do you mean? You mean those fellas? The growths on their flesh appeared too organic to be prosthetics. Some of them had odd protrusions or nodules bulging from their skin as well. What? Not at all, Manager Bud. Look, they haven't all mutated in the same pattern, like into an insectoid form, for example. Well, I guess I should commend you for not looking at them through a biased lens. You are observing the aftermath of District 8's distinctive method of treatment. Oh, so this is where the rumors about that bluish healing ointment came from, huh? Apparently they can cure any flesh wound after just one night dressed in bandages? It seems that certain misconceptions must be addressed. They are the variations of H Corp's singularity, the bolus. The bolus? She is likely referring to medicines brewed and kneaded into ball-shaped pills. Correct. H Corp, or the Hongyan Bioengineering Group, mainly manufactures boluses that contain essences of treatment. The boluses may be taken orally, ground with water into a paste and applied directly to the affected area, or dissolved in water, soaked into bandages, and wrapped around the necessary area for treatment. Ah, I guess rumors transform as they travel. Oh, I see. I was just thinking about how they do things back at the K-Corp. The focus of K-Corp's technology is the reversal or recovery of one's conditions. Returning to the original state is the key word in their treatment. It is no rare sight to find unique techniques and technology developed independently by the inhabitants of the back streets of District 8, using the manufactured boluses. The treatments are not individually customized for each patient. Instead, their focus is on selecting the appropriate technique from a myriad of choices to address the deficiencies in their statuses. Perhaps one could choose the words transformation or evolution as a more illustrative descriptor for their method of treatment. So that's what counts as treated? Wait, so they just transform? That's very unnerving. Now I want to see what these people look like. They're like, oh, hey, you got a couple of assists. You know what? We're going to transform you. We're not actually going to treat it. What we are going to do is just turn you into a giant pus sack. I think that would be great. The crowd Sinclair was pointing at certainly appeared unhurt, as none of them were bleeding or walking with a limp, but many of them appeared dazed, staring blankly at nothing, or scratching absent-mindedly at their mutated parts. Ah, they must be the regulars. Unexpectedly, we found our answer not from Faust, not from Mersault, but from Hong Lu. The regulars? Yes, I've heard of them as a child, people who've grown too accustomed to visiting the clinics in search of their mystical treatments. The regulars might appear more intimidating than most people at first glance, but apparently, all the side effects they've been stacking changes them in strange ways. Wait, what? What? They should be blacklisted then. If they're just going to get treatment for nothing, they should be blacklisted. It is highly likely that their interoperation conflicts or issues will arise when applying highly desperate treatment methods to a single body. At least it's a cheaper alternative for people who didn't sign up for the life insurance. You speak of life insurance? Yes, life insurance. There's a special insurance option to bring the client back to life upon the event of their death. What? That's one sick life insurance. So the irony isn't lost on me, but I thought resurrecting people was one of the head's taboos. The head does not consider the revival via life insurance to be a violation of their non-resurrection taboo. It is likely that on a technical level, this revival is actually categorized as brain resuscitation, as opposed to a full resurrection. Degradation of its functions considered, of course. Oh, is that why they're like staring blankly? Another fatal downside to this technology is that unlike the manager's clock winding, the subject cannot be brought back if their brain is destroyed. Also, there is a risk of significant losses in the process of information transference. Losses, huh? So maybe some of their mutations could be more than just a side effect of these treatments? Maybe, but I heard it takes more than 1 or 2 revivals to change that much. And since apparently people in the Backstreets could never even dream of paying consistent insurance renewal rates, so after all, who would sign up for insurance if using its services could reduce them to such pitiful states? Yeah, they appear pathetic and pitiful to you rich bastards, don't they? You'll soon be in the same boat as them, so save some pity for yourself. Identify yourself. The stranger's voice cut through our discussion like a foreign instrument. We turned around to find a large group of people who were clearly up to no good. You must be the young master of that high and mighty Gia family, eh? I can tell just by looking at your pretty face. Your friends, Honglu? No. I haven't had much chance to get acquainted with people from the Backstreets, so nope, I've never met them before. Of course you haven't. Too busy living large, playing gods in a whole different world from us plebes, huh? Not that it matters. We're just here to take the thing you brought here for submission to the family hierarch evaluation. What is he talking about? The what evaluation? Okay, there's clearly a misunderstanding. There's quite a lot of them. We're not off to a great start here, huh, man? Actually, no. It'd be a violation of our office's core values to jump them like we're some common thugs. I, Shan San, third son of the Triax office, challenge Jia Bao Yu of the Jia family to a duel. Our wager will be that the winner can take anything they want from the loser. Wait, what do you mean a duel? Duel? It's time to duel. I have heard tell that duels of the honorable fixers of the Sync Association Eastern Branch announce their intent to duel by stating their affiliation and name instead of casting their gauntlets. And the pamphlet that young Ishmael had presented before me earlier presenteth the truth that the Triax office is indeed an office of the East, though they are indeed of a lesser quality. 'Tis a true, genuine, accurate declaration of a duel that we behold. So, it's just a fancy way of saying 1v1 me, let's go. And I mean, this guy doesn't look too tough. What do you think, Faust? Agreed, this individual does not seem to possess any particularly exceptional skill that may pose difficulties for Honglu. I think it's going to be okay. I'll be back in a minute, Dante. You sure this is okay? I don't think you're going to lose against him, but, you know, just in case. No worries. I have some childhood experience with duels myself. I've done about 10 of them, I think. What? Childhood experience with duels? What in the hell? Ha! So the rich boy's dabbled in some duels, has he? It's... All right, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about Yu-Gi-Oh! And they're about to, you know, play a match, they're gonna duel. This guy is giving me Rex Raptor vibes. Ah, I think you must understand. I meant to say that I've done about 10 of them a day. Oh, but my grandmother sometimes let me skip them, so it might have been slightly fewer than that on some days. What? I, Hung Lu of Limbus Company. No. I, Bao Yu of the Jia family, accept this duel. Hung Lu stepped forward confidently as the opponent was processing what he just heard. For a moment, Hung Lu stood there in a stance that did not express even a hint of aggression, before curiously cocking his head to the side. Sorry, are we waiting for something? Oh, so I always let the opponent get the first 2 moves in duels. Please, don't hesitate. Let me? You little! Your cocky pride shall be your downfall! The man who introduced himself as Shan San leaped toward Hong Lu. Then, after about a minute... How is this happening? Oh, damn! Unlike Shan San, who was throwing punches and swings with boiling hot passion, Hong Lu was effortlessly gliding between his opponent's strikes like he was out on a picnic. As though this was but a leisurely stroll through a garden. Whenever Shan San threw a powerful punch, Hong Lu redirected it to the side with ease, the fist only grazing his clothes. We were mesmerized by the feathery light movements of his hands and feet that effortlessly glided through the air. Until, after one blink and you'll miss it moment, we realized that Shan San was already face down on the ground, defeated. Oh, young Hong Lu, hast thou been concealing thy full strength in our presence? Oh no, I wouldn't say that. I always put my all into every fight. Yet to defeat this foe so soundly, to dance with such grace between his strikes, 'twas as though thou wert dueling someone whose skill may only measure against a child's. But most of our fights happen in environments with a lot of variables, and we usually fight against enemies with all kinds of unexpected weapons and powers. That is true. You read him. Already familiar with that fool's moves? Oh yes. One of my Bai Wu instructors used similar techniques as this gentleman here. Practice makes perfect, and perfection makes an expert, right? Fuhu. Right, but I'm not sure if that's entirely relevant here. Jacked up. Well, anyways, looks to me that he soundly kicked your behind in this duel. Let us through, why don't you? And preferably not do the thing I think you're about to do. This duel wasn't overseen by a notary office anyway, and our employer's not gonna let this failure slide if we just leave. Don't just sit there. Move your asses and jump them. Pathetic. I can kind of see how we're becoming experts at getting jumped. With the bitter cry of the defeated, his gang rushed toward us. Hey, I mean, like Hong Lu said, practice makes perfect and perfection makes an expert. And we are experts at getting jumped. This is not going to be a problem at all. We are going to absolutely destroy them. And of course, you know, we are entering a new place and already running into problems. I just want one time where we can just go in, you know, boom, not run into any problems or, you know, be arrested. Jumped. I just want like a nice, smooth introduction to a new place. Listen to this music, by the way. Absolutely phenomenal. I am loving it. I am loving it. I am excited for Canto 8, baby. I cannot believe that I am at Canto 8, and I can't believe that I have been playing Limbus Company for 7 months? 7 or 8 months, going on 8 months. Absolutely insane. I feel like I just started playing this game. How crazy is it that we are heading towards a year playing Limbus Company? Absolutely incredible. Time flies when you're having fun. And this really isn't a great start, fellas, huh? It's never easy, is it? Hey, at least we got a nice warm-up. It wasn't all bad. I love this music, by the way. I just want to sit in this music for a second. Hold on, let's turn this up. This is too good. Yes, oh, that music is so good. That is so good. I don't know, this seems more serious than our usual street brawls. Ishmael's right. They weren't your everyday thugs who pick fights with random people for no good reason. They were contracted by someone to specifically target and eliminate Hong Lu. And given how open they were about their intent, calling it a contract, it doesn't seem like whoever gave the contract was exactly going for subtlety. Then maybe this was what GSC Chun was talking about way back when she mentioned surviving as heirs. Whoever's behind this must have a bone to pick with Hong Lu. Indeed, it seems that we must expect more skirmishes like this going forward. Alas, was this trial not readily overcome? Not the point. Think on it a little more. Seems like they're assuming that Hong Lu's brought something here in order to participate in that family hierarch evaluation. So, the family hierarch evaluation, could it be like Hong Lu's family? We do know Hong Lu's family is messed up, and they try killing each other from what Hong Lu has said in the past. So, could potentially Hong Lu's family think that Hong Lu's here to take this, like, take the throne or the leadership over the family? Like, they're nervous that Hong Lu is going to participate in this evaluation and he is going to come out on top. Interesting. I don't know. Just spitballing here. I have no idea. Very interesting though. Then there's no reason to assume that we've seen the last of them. They're going to try again to take out the competition. A highly accurate assessment of the situation by the executive manager. I expected no less from someone of your genius. Going for the classic of brown nosing today, Otis. Since when was it brown nosing to compliment a job well done? Do you not expect? This inane conversation is most riveting, but I would prefer some silence while we wait. It seems that the company foresaw such difficulties. They've sent you a support team to help handle this issue. We heard voices coming from behind us, from where Virgilius pointed. My, you guys still haven't learned how to stick to the plan, have you? It really threw me off when I was told to meet you in some Backstreet's location, away from our agreed rendezvous point. Who is this? A familiar voice, a voice we cannot forget. Saude! No way! Oh my god! It has been so long. Been a while, everyone. I wonder how Sinclair and Pilot, let's go. I'm here too. I wonder how Sinclair is gonna feel. We turned around to follow where the voices were coming from and recognized the two people we've been hoping to see again. That is amazing. Saude and Pilot returned. Ah, man. That makes me so happy. And nervous at the same time. They better not die. I will be so not pleased. Saude? And hey, Pilot, right? What's wrong? It's like you're all looking at a ghost. Pilot, didn't you tell me that you shared my news with him the last time? I did. I sure did, ma'am. Oh, yeah, he did. The sinners each recovered from the initial shock of seeing them again. And soon their faces began to bloom with relieved smiles. Well, good to see that things haven't changed much around here. Saude, we're so glad to see you're okay. TikTok to you two. Good to see your gears are turning just fine. Saude smiled with a familiar grin. She did not seem to have changed much since the last time we met, save for a few minor differences. Her outfit and her badge, for example. Last I recall, you were promoted, yes? Allow me to congratulate you. Yeah. or the hints of melancholy hanging from her smile and flickering in her eyes. Yeah, exactly. And that is what I was thinking too, is like the history of all of us together and everything that went down. It's going to be difficult to kind of like hide that, or like we're going to have moments where it's just going to be brought up, and it's going to be interesting. It is going to be interesting because, you know, everything that happens with Saude and Effie, and I don't know. We're going to have moments where it's like it's brought back just a memory of everything. Hey, I'm merely congratulating her on her promotion and offering a recognition of her excellent accomplishments. I don't see what your problem is here. But we all know the meaning that promotion carries. Indeed, and it is very profound. After all, what meaning is there to a promotion attained without spilling some blood? You're a real piece of work. Let me ask you something then. If everyone behaves like you do around her, tiptoeing around the facts, keeping it hush-hush about what happened, where's she going to get the bare minimum of the recognition and the consolation she deserves? Hush-hush would have been nice. I've even overheard some of them whisper that I let my partner die just so I could snag a promotion. So in that regard, I appreciate that, Otis. If we're being technical, I did die, except my brain was intact. Not even K-Corp's regenerative ampules could have revived me if it wasn't. Then, did Effie also? Apparently they went right for Effie's head when they stabbed him with a prosthetic. According to the coroner's autopsy. There it is. K-Corp ampules. Life insurance. Neither of them can revive someone with a damaged brain. It is what it is. Anyways, let's not dwell on the depressing stuff. We're here for work. Let's get some work done. Let's talk about work, okay? Pilot? Yes, ma'am. Well, let's see here. Coincidentally, I happen to make friends with a feller who has ties to the Gia family, so I brought him over. Uh-oh. Hey, is that everything? Yes, sir. Briefing over. No. Pilot! What the hell? Oh my god! What kind of job did you do? A half-assed one, that's what. Just as everyone was really in stunned silence at the least informative, least helpful briefing we ever had the displeasure of sitting through. Ishmael was the first to catch herself. She looked up at Saude. Saude, can we rely on you for some elaboration here? The briefing was a good demonstration of the necessity of educating the 5 W's and 1 H principle. The 5 W's and 1 H. What? Looks like we'll have a lot to discuss once we get back, Pilot. Did I do something wrong? Shh, Pilot, buddy, just stop. You're digging yourself a deeper hole with every word. Gregor quickly leaned in to warn Pilot, but it was likely too late. A nigh unnoticeable crease had already formed between Saude's brows. Prior to commencing this high-priority operation, it was necessary for us to find individuals with connections to each corp. So we, as the preliminary observation unit, were put to the task, and we managed to establish a connection with an individual. Oh, someone from my family? No, we tried, but your family proved to be a rather difficult nut to crack. However, as we were wasting our precious time with all of our leads, Pilot pursued an unconventional method to establish this connection. I really didn't hold back on compliments then, and this is how you... Our collaborator is a former employee of the Gia family. After leaving the family, he now runs a lodging business. Then it is likely that he is far removed from the family politics, less motivation for him to attack us due to conflicting interests. Yes, and according to Pilot's reports, he still regards the Gia family positively. How could I not, considering the blessings they have given me? An unfamiliar voice butted into the conversation as though to continue Saude's explanations. I humbly present myself before the fellowship of young Master Bao Yu. Please, call me Qing Tao. He greeted us in a most polite fashion before bringing his hands together in an odd motion. I mean, honestly, he's standing like a villager from Minecraft. Is he trustworthy? Oh, is this how they greet each other here? Yep, it's called the Bao Chuan gesture, bringing fist and palm together to express respect and peace toward the receiver. Ah, knights greet one another by shaking their hands for the self-same purpose. Forsooth, thou art indeed one possessed of a chivalrous spirit. Ah, indeed. Much did I worry about the qualities of people young master has surrounded himself with, but I see that he is in company of those wise in the ways of the West. I prostrate myself before the vast breadth of your knowledge. What grand generosity it is to open ajar the waterways of wisdom to quench my barren lands. Something feels familiar about this. Nah, she's been getting less and less verbose with boot licking these days. Not like this guy, for sure. That's true. He's kind of like, how should I put this? A bit much? What are you guys talking about? Communicating only by the sound of a ticking clock. This is something I had already known ahead of time, yet. What a most curious exchange to behold in person. Brief this journey may be, yet I shall find myself thoroughly entertained in its entirety. Maybe it's a subtle sprinkle of disrespect that reminds you of the usual flavor. Wait, is this about me? You dare. I was wondering if she was going to be picking up what they were putting down. Was all that bootlicking? Was all that bootlicking she did supposed to be a source of pride for her or something? Ode shook her head with clear distaste and strode toward me. We are nothing alike, executive manager. Never have I once said such empty flattery in your presence, filled with nothing but hot air and superlatives. I'll leave the guidance of these backstreets to him. Well, looks like this is where... Saude fell silent, her eyes lingering on Virgilius, who stood somewhat apart from the rest of us. So I finally get to meet the Red Gaze in the flesh. I've been looking forward to this day for a long time. Effie would have loved to be here. Manager. Virgilius seemed to sense her lingering gaze and walked toward us after nodding slightly in her direction. Manager Saude. Let's not make this any longer than it has to be. I'm not happy to be helping you with your businesses. I'd much rather put this behind me as soon as possible. Oh, please. It's our historic first collaborative operation, isn't it? Can't you spare a little more time with us? The guide bud's actually doing something? That guy? Yes, unfortunately, LCC has our own business to take care of today, so I won't be accompanying the LCB this time, and the Red Gaze will be helping us out to get it done. Taking Mephi there, vroom vroom. Maybe it's not that unfortunate. Now that I think about it, I feel like every mission with the LCB's always been an uphill battle to get anything done. Well, you see, back then we were... Just messing with you. I'm sure we'll have another chance to work together again. Boss, we don't got much time. Wait, before you go, I think you owe us some explanation, Virgilius. I will leave the details to Miss Faust. I am quite busy. Very well. Virgilius turned around and left toward Mephistopheles with an oddly disgruntled expression. Well then, I'll see you around. Next time I'll show that I can carry my own weight. You know, oh boy, the last time we met, I really was so darn pathetic. Pilot, competence is shown through action, not words. Saude and Pilot gave us a light nod before following Virgilius. Some sinners opened their mouths to speak, hesitated, then closed them again. We let them go without a word. Perhaps we didn't know what we could say to not make this an awkward farewell. Very well, please, this way. Or maybe we were simply mindful of this guy who was responsible for the quality of our stay. I wonder what Virgilius, Saude, and Pilot are up to. Deeper resentment ought to be washed away. Oh, singing. Deep deeper resentment ought to be washed away. For when the far one comes, betwixt the burnt doors shall a star fly astray. Are you sure we're going the right way? I don't like the sound of these weird songs. It's Sinclair, to be honest, is probably the way I'm singing it. The main streets are most likely teeming with those seeking to bring harm to the young master. We must venture an alternative path. Yeah, I don't know if we can actually trust this guy. I don't know. And like he said, there weren't any skirmishes once we made it deeper into the dark alleyways. The lack of foot traffic would normally be pretty unsettling, but I guess that's what we needed at this moment. As for the song, it's a song that's become rather popular in the back streets in the recent months. The lyrics are pretty, ominous for a popular song. It is a song that spreads through word of mouth. It sings of how the decimated Kong family... This is not the place to discuss such matters here. I will share the tale in a more appropriate setting later, should we come across it. Didn't know there was a song like that. Is this the first time you've heard of it too, Honglu? He's a posh git from a posh family. I doubt he's ever set his precious feet in the back streets, so it's no wonder he's never heard anything like it. I have been to the back streets before, but Heathcliff isn't wrong. I did spend most of my time in my room. That is precisely because you were the most treasured one of them all, young master. Much like how the jade of the greatest worth is to be cherished, prized, and hidden in the deepest depths of one's coffers where none shall reach. He's giving me the creeps. I feel like this is like a kidnapping. He wants Honglu for himself. I'm like him to a lesser degree, particularly as of late. This is so that guy used to work for the Jia family, huh? Do you know him, Honglu? Young master, is there something on my face? Ah. Honglu stopped himself as though a thought flashed in his head and glanced quietly in my direction. Then, it's nothing. Shall we continue walking down this road? Honglu knows something. He knows something is up. Indeed, humble as I may be, I am very well versed in the roads of this area. Honglu shook his head at me as he casually changed the subject, as though he was trying to hide something we know from Qingtao. Should we be suspicious of something? He's a collaborator, but only a temporary one. A degree of caution would be advisable. Given Pilot's clear inexperience and naivete, we would do well to remain suspicious of this character. Faust and Otis approached me as Honglu was nodding along and chatting amicably with our guide. Well, looking back at our journey so far, I think we learned our lesson about blindly trusting every collaborator we came across. With this growing mistrust in mind, I slowly made my distance from the guy before asking Faust the burning question. So what was that about back there with Virgilius? Something about him going off to help them out? The consequences of his actions at Wuthering Heights. Oh, he has to see the principal. Oh, his actions were a violation of one of the more important items in his contract with the company. He is simply taking responsibility for the breach of contract. I think back to the incident at the manor. It feels like such a long time ago now. Well, that's kind of a bummer. He really helped us out of a pickle. What? That's what they're dragging him away for? But what? I wonder what the consequence is. Like, what is he going to be facing because of that? Is there a problem, honored guests? It's nothing. Nothing at all. No problemo, right, Ryoshu? S, you idiot. Marisol, can you carry Heath for a little bit? He's that tired. It will be done. Heathcliff punched in the gut, but the hilt of Ryoshu's sword fell forward right into Marisol's welcoming shoulder. Oh my god, I love these sinners. They are so damn funny. Rosia? You know the kind of person I hate the most? The kind of dull people who can't read the room. Don't you feel the same way, Dante? Yep. I nodded enthusiastically as something seemed to imply that she wasn't really asking me a question. I don't think she was about to punch my lights out, but Rojyan and Ryoshu judged correctly this time. Classified company information must not be discussed in the presence of an outsider. Reminds me of the time he got knocked out cold for a while because he kept asking questions without raising his hands. The guy just doesn't learn, huh? You successfully preserved the secrecy of classified information without spilling blood. I applaud this policy. I did good, didn't I? I'm just not a fan of how they're treating Heathcliff like dirt now. I know, poor Heathcliff. He's awesome. He's our boy. And to think back in Canto 1, how low he was on my Sinner tier list. I should actually make a video going over my updated current Sinner tier list and kind of see where everybody is at this point. If it's no problemo, as you say, then that is well indeed. Yet, I worry that it appears that the problem has found us anyway. I stopped and looked around, realizing that we were surrounded by a group of people wielding various weapons in their hands. What happened to finding us a safer path? It is likely that my guidance has indeed given us a much safer path away from the more obvious skirmishes. However, to my great regret, it appears that the more observant of our enemies have tracked us here. Damn it. Then what are you even here for? Isn't it your job to prevent this exact scenario? Huh. Let's leave the finger pointing for later. We're gonna have to take them all down. They must not be allowed to disseminate our current location. Exactly. Where are you slinking off to, Mr. Qingtao? I must regrettably and humbly say that my talents in war are terribly lacking, so I intend to become scarce for a moment. Yet I have the utmost faith in the strengths of our young master and the honored guests in overcoming this adversity. So, Qingtao was already standing so far away from the front lines that he was practically hiding behind me. Faust, anything you can tell us about these enemies? No, but a consultation with a Gesellschaft seems unnecessary if we are to determine whether negotiating with them is an option. They're coming. Mersault, wake Heathcliff up and set him down. It will be done. Wakey wakey Heath! Boy, he's gonna be not happy when he wakes up and sees that we're going into a fight. Oh, damn, listen to this music. Oh. Yo, this music is so good in this Intervallo. Are you kidding? Damn, this music is something I would turn on and just jam out to. Woo! I mean, this music is actually getting me pretty pumped up. I am really loving this music. Oh my god, this music is so good. So good. But I hope you are enjoying today's video, Tadpales. If you are, don't forget to hit that like button. Every like on this video represents the number of kisses that Heathcliff gets on his boo-boos at the end of this battle. So let's see how many likes we can get and how many kisses on Heathcliff's boo-boos. Yes. Oh man, what the hell is going on? What is wrong with me right now? It's so hot. It's so hot today. I'm going mad. But I'm really liking this Intervallo so far. Honestly, these two Intervallos have been great. The only Intervallo that I wasn't a fan of was Time Killing Time. I felt like, for me, you're going to make it kind of like a murder mystery, right? And murder mysteries, I always feel like should have some big reveal. You know, like you're watching Clue and you're like, damn, who's the killer? And then boom, the reveal happens. You're shocked. You're like, oh my gosh, Time Killing Time did not have that. It did not have a big reveal, and it kind of fell flat for me. Like I didn't mind it. It had a lot of funny moments in the Intervallo. It wasn't terrible, but it just was not my favorite. It was not my favorite. I felt I just wanted a big reveal. But I am loving these two Intervallos so far. Oh my goodness. Regular checkup, hilarious. Hohenheim's Pass, absolutely wild. I felt bad for the guy. Just seeing everything that he went through at the end. It's like you thought his arrogance, he played it up really well. I mean, he's like, nah. He gave me the vibe like, oh yeah, they all said, you're a genius and you're going to do great things. We are not. We are nothing. So you should be the one to survive. And that was not the case. Absolutely wild seeing how all of that played out. And I can only imagine how this interval is going to play out. Hostiles in the immediate vicinity have been eliminated. Our collaborator, who'd been hiding far from the battle, quickly ran up to our side as soon as the fight ended. Are you unhurt, young master? Yep, I'm totally fine. Of course, our honored guest's martial skills were all exceptionally brilliant, but, young master, your light was the brightest even among the incandescent. This humble servant could not hold back his tears at this wondrous sight to witness such excellent martial skills from none other than the young master himself. What an unexpected surprise! But don't the children of the Gia family undergo all kinds of strict training regimens from childhood? It was simply my assumption that the young master had ceased his trainings once he departed the family. Anyways, how do you think they tracked us down anyway? About that, it appears that we weren't exactly tracked down. Perhaps it may be that the ilk who lurk in these parts of the back streets recognize the young master's venerable countenance. I don't think my face is that well known. The family hierarchy evaluations are nigh. Every soul living in Hangyun must know the face of the young master who is loved by every elder of the family. It must be that they are under the assumption that you are carrying something of great value. Family hierarch, huh? Didn't GSC Chun say something about heirs back then? They all assumed wrong then. I didn't bring anything precious that the elders might be looking for. Young master, even now? I just couldn't care less about it, that's all. Besides, many of my siblings are much better fit to be the family hierarch than I am. That's... Well, that is indeed a relief. Yeah, not a relief. Not a relief. A relief, is it? Well, but of course, it is a highly dangerous endeavor to partake in the hierarchy evaluations, so it is of great relief to know that the young master is not putting himself in unnecessary danger. I guess that could be a relief, sort of. Phew. Now that we took them all down, there shouldn't be any more on the way, right? Greg, can we not jinx ourselves for 1 second? Why are you laughing, Ryoshu? Now I'm worried. Please do not concern yourselves any further. We take a more clandestine path. I guarantee a safe and easy passage to our destination. I still have a hard time buying that. The lay of this place would constitute a perfect place to set up an ambush in most places, yet you claim this to be the safer path? Yet I must ask you to place your faith in this humble servant, for Hangyun is not like most places. Fine, for now. Oda shut her eyes for a moment, out of retorts, then turned to look at Ishmael. Hey Ishmael, you must have a pamphlet of this place handy, don't you? No way, you're actually going to read it? Why else would I ask? No, I mean, how could I not be caught off guard after almost a whole year of getting brushed off by everyone every time I plead with them to read the damn pamphlets? Like hell, did no one think to... I will find my own intel if you're just going to ramble on and on with your grievances. Okay, fine, here it is. Otis opened the pamphlet and began intently glaring at its text, as though she didn't want to miss even the smallest detail of information in there. Suspicion clear on her knitted brows. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, definitely giving the vibe like we are walking into some sort of a bigger trap. It's not looking good. We were on a desperate run, all the while fighting off hordes upon hordes of enemies. Oi, what happened to safe and easy passage? Explain this shit. It appears that the young master's radiant countenance was made known. I thought we were finding a more clandestine passage. How come we're getting jumped by even more enemies? As I have said, the young master's radiance. At least try to give a little variation to your excuses. I cannot so easily say that he is being untruthful, given the disjointed allegiance of the enemies attacking us. Otis played with the pamphlet in her hand, clearly frustrated but unable to establish anything concrete. Or people without a clear allegiance to attack a member of the Gia family. Looks like everyone in the Backstreets has been getting pretty plucky while I was away. Back then, I couldn't even catch a glimpse of their faces. They'd all be on their hands and knees whenever we walked past. Ah, what a wonderful change. Oh, shove that wonderful change up your ass, you bloody loon. How much longer until we get there? My Kazan is near. Calm your worries. Our guide seems oddly calmer now than he did at the beginning of this journey. Did he really get numbed to all of the violence that fast? Or, speaking of which, what's a Kazan? It is a term commonly used to refer to taverns, inns, or equivalent places of lodging in this region. Lodging, huh? Like a hotel? Ooh, it's gotta be pretty fancy then, huh? Do they serve like complimentary snacks and drinks like the warp train? Not sure about that, but it seems like Kazans also serve alcohol and food alongside their lodging services. Maybe we can get a meal in there. And, hopefully we won't be attacked there like this. Residential non-aggression taboo. Any mutual acts of violence inside a residential building is, within this particular area and floor of Hongyun, a taboo. A taboo we may rest easy within then. I saw Faust's eyebrows slightly twitch as though she had just heard the most ridiculous thing, but I guess I'll ask her about it later. Phew, man. If it's for some kind of family hierarchy or family head selection contest, why couldn't they save all this fighting until then? Because it would be too late. Late how? Every hierarchy candidate must have brought incredibly precious treasures with them. It would be nice if they believed that their own treasure is the most precious of them all, but everyone's going to try to take each other's just to be sure. I see. Just in case someone else brought something even better than their own. And might as well kill them too for the sake of convenience. Oh, dang. So the Limbus company has turned into like an extraction mode within the world. It's like, okay, you have to take out your competitors, loot their bodies, take their stuff and extract with it. I get it. I get it. Is that how the folks in your family think? What kind of line of thinking is that? But other families didn't seem too different from mine. Damn. Deepest apologies for intruding upon this most enthralling conversation. However, we may be inviting even further trouble by dallying here. With that, the guide pulled out a watch to check the time. It will be nighttime soon. Yeah, I definitely do not trust them at all. I do think that we're walking right into a trap. We're gonna go into the Kazan, and something terrible is going to be waiting for us. I think that is what Faust's brow twitch was about. That there isn't an actual taboo of fighting inside of a mutual residence or whatever they said. This is all a trap. I sense it. You know what this is kind of giving me vibes of? Kung Fu Hustle. This is giving me the vibe of Kung Fu Hustle. That movie was so damn good. It's just there's all of these like different clans that came together to fight at this like apartment complex. Man, I don't know when that movie was made. It had to have been early 2000s when I first saw that, but I watched that movie so many times. You know what? Talking about it and then playing through this, it makes me want to watch it again. I wonder if it lives up to today's standards. You know, when you watch a movie that you watched when you were a kid or, you know, years ago, you're like, yeah, that movie was so good. And then you watch it now and it's like, oh no, I just ruined my childhood because of it. Like Drop Dead Fred, fantastic movie when I was a kid. You watch it now, it's not the same. It is not the same, but one movie that still holds itself pretty dang well, and I love it so much. One of my favorite movies of all time is Neverending Story. Such a great movie. And the original Ninja Turtle. Like, in the original Ninja Turtles, the first and second one, they were great. The third one was good, but not as good. I remember, you know, the first one was pretty serious. And then the second one, they would not let the turtles use their weapons because they said it was for kids and they shouldn't use their weapons. That's why, if you watch the second Ninja Turtles, they don't use their weapons on the foot, which is pretty interesting. Now, here we are. Huh, is this the place? After running through alleyway after alleyway, after turning corner after corner, we finally came across the site of several small buildings tightly built next to one another. At the center of them was a building lit with red lamps adorned with a door plate with complicated looking letters scribbled over it. This is shoddier than I expected. Hey, isn't this place a bit too trashy to house your precious young master? That is not our building. Please look this way to see where our honored guests will be staying for the night. I knew it. I heard so much from Hong Lu about all that splendor, all the... Huh? We followed Qing Tao's finger and arrived at a small warehouse of sorts, its exterior painted in black. That looks smaller than even Mephistopheles. Can we all even fit in there? Hey, that place looks trashy as heck, even for us, let alone your young master. This is the nearest Kazan we could afford to stay in, at least among the ones that I manage. Yet its location in the back streets heavily limits the level of decency it can afford. My deepest and sincerest apologies, young master. Don't worry, we can't always sleep in decent places. It looks just fine for an overnight stay to me. Are you nuts? Can that thing even fit all of us in there? Much did I wish to guide the honored guests to the family mansion in the central zone. However, the time. Oh, the sweeping wave. The sweeping wave? Doesn't that start at 3:13 in the morning? I feel like we've got plenty of time to get there. Exactly. Don't we have more than enough time to get to the family mansion? According to the H Corp travel guide, the central area is only like an hour away from here. Has the honored guest traveled to District 8 before? Well, no, this is my first time here, but then one must ask how the honored guest could claim to have the full understanding of a place merely by flipping through a book when she hasn't had to contend with it in person. Innumerable, unpredictable changes await in this teeming jungle of buildings. The ever-shifting structures, the constantly changing paths, ambushes from foolish yet vicious syndicates or even offices of the back streets. Oh, we are beset by danger from all sides. Such bold, flippant approach to predicting the phenomenon of this place is to court death. Even a toddler must know that. Dang. Is it just me, or are we all thinking back to Ishmael back at the Great Lake? Zip it, Dante. But if the guidebook lists a path, does it not imply that it is technically possible to reach there in time? Otis suddenly took a step forward. In her hand was the H Corp travel pamphlet that Ishmael was talking about. I have faith that if our executive manager would lead us in your directionally challenged stead, they would be able to lead us to our destination before night falls. Me? This does not appear to have been discussed aforehand. Very well, allow me to speak freely without frills. My responsibility is to bring the honored guests to the central zone and to ensure the young master's safety. It is indeed technically possible to reach the family mansion before the night in the Backstreets commences. Technically. Yet, not even one iota of danger to the young master shall be permitted. The mission that has been so graciously bestowed upon this humble servant is not to guide the young master with haste, but to guide him with utmost safety. It is said that those engaging in strategies and plans must remain wary of losing sight of their purpose. It is said that those engaging in strategies and plans must remain wary of losing their sight of their purpose. To stubbornly forge on toward the family mansion in lieu of necessary intel to see when these mobs of assailants would end is to wrongly prioritize the journey over the destination. You. Wonderful, truly impressive. You have all the qualities of someone I would trust with my life when devising a stratagem. This is the most fitting attitude for those who genuinely wish the best for those they serve. Really? You're just gonna start going along with him all of a sudden? I have misunderstood your intentions, truly. They sparked my ire by comparing some of your choice words with my very own. Yet now my eyes have been opened to the honest loyalty that lies within your heart. This humble servant did not imagine, even in his wildest dreams, that there would be someone who understands the fathoms of his loyalty. It seems that young master has certainly gained an eye for allies and fellowships. This is a cause for much relief in my heart. Listen to him. This one knows how to jest. They're basically best buds now, huh? I may have lost my cool for a moment there. Anyway, this man speaks true. It is highly likely that we would be exposed to attacks of similar nature were we to continue moving at this time. She's just fully on his side now, isn't she? That's when I realized that she was looking in my direction. The exaggerated smile had all but completely faded from her face, replaced with an odd but dead serious expression. When our gazes locked, she nodded. She must be, she's acting. Completely turned around by that guy. Is this her way of saying so long? I'm gonna quit and go work with this guy now? Thanks for everything. And as for this hotel, it is still much better than sleeping in outdoor tent barracks. We should be able to relieve ourselves of some fatigue here before moving on. Oh, so she's not acting. She really is impressed with him. Damn. Did you not earlier insist on continuing our search for a better accommodation with the greatest vehemence, Miss Otis? Yeah, whatever. We get your point. Let's go inside. Phew. My humblest self can only behold your generous acceptance of this insufficient lodging with the deepest gratitude. After all that serious talk, the man seemed oddly relieved to hear our decision as he brought his fist and palm together. Architecture of today mustn't be judged with such haste merely by an observation of their exterior. The interior may hold aught to be surprised of. Worry not. With Rogion surrendered, wouldn't that be nice? We made our way into the building. Oh, this actually ain't so bad. It's clean in here. This place presents a rather classical aesthetic. The landscape paintings lining the walls give off a rather sophisticated mood. And it's much more spacious inside than it looks from the outside. Did they use some kind of space expansion technology in here too? No, it seems that the building only appeared small due to the density of structures in proximity. Well, the door is now open. Should my presence be required, I shall be in the small shed next to this building. Please do converse freely. The man smiled awkwardly and quietly excused himself as the excitement among the sinners began to grow. I still feel like this is a trap. Meanwhile, Hong Lu stood a fair distance from the guide, quietly watching his face as he left. His expression was enigmatic, as if he were gazing upon the clouds, the flowers, or even the wind. Yet there was no light in those eyes. It was as if they beheld a storm cloud, a desolate field of wilted flowers, and a howling, destructive gale. Do you suspect something, Hong Lu? So I decided to ask. Not yet, I don't think. Huh? Not yet? So, big brother. Something felt off to you too, huh? Say, Si-chun! That's when we caught a familiar face. Wow, Si-chun, it's you, and so soon too. Yeah, I told you I had a feeling we'd be seeing each other again very soon. Have you been well, young master? I'm so glad to see that you're doing well, Mr. Wei. Oh wait, don't tell me you're staying here too, Sichun. I normally wouldn't ever set foot in a place like this, but I ran into some kind of large-scale construction on my way back to the family mansion. Had to come in through the back streets. So we weren't the only ones troubled by that random construction site. Oh, hail to thee! The confident look on Sichun's face was immediately replaced by that of alarm. Did she lose her memories again? Is she with you? No, Don Quixote is the same as always. Ahem. But she looks like such an airhead. Young Sichun! Well, wouldst thou accompany me to the lounge but a moment, so that we may share a moment of catching up? Oh, yeah, actually, let's do that. Hold on. Jia Sichun seemed to hesitate for a moment, staring at Don Quixote after hearing that her memories were intact, before walking right up to her. I like that idea. Shall we? Wei, why don't you go and find a room for me to stay in while I talk some things out with her? Oh, what? You wanted to do some catching up, right? 'Tis, Manager Esquire. Loss of critical personnel may be a cause for disciplinary action, Dante. I don't think there's anything wrong with making friends, though. Looks like Sichun really likes Don Quixote if she's comfortable enough to tease her like that. It's not Don Quixote she likes. She obviously just wants Don Quixote's power she saw back then. My lady, this is hardly the appropriate place for... Fine, I'll try again later. Go get some sleep. I'm heading in too. Sichun sighed with a bit of disappointment before heading into the lobby. Well, let's all head inside now. So I and the rest of the sinners followed her into the lodging. Oh my gosh. What did they mean? Wanting her her power. Oh, I get it. She wanted to get bit. Oh my god. And this is where we are going to end today's video. A great start to the Intervallo, and there they are. There's Jia Sichun. But I'm really enjoying this Intervallo. The music is so dang good. I am loving it. All in all, great. I mean, a great start. It is really good. I do not trust our guide one bit. I feel like something is not right with him, but we will soon find out. But that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, do not forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.